Commander Jacob Rains stepped off the sleek starship and looked up at the grand palace before him. The Zenthari Empire's capital was unlike anything he had ever seen. Towers made of shining metal stretched high into the sky, glowing softly with blue lights. Strange ships flew silently above, and alien guards in bright armor stood watch at every corner. Jacob felt small and nervous. He was just one man from Earth, a planet the galaxy often ignored. But now he was here, in the heart of the most powerful empire in the galaxy. He had come as a diplomat, sent by the Earth Federation to meet Queen Varelia herself. The halls inside were even more impressive. Walls shimmered with moving images of the empire's history, and the air was filled with quiet whispers from the many species gathered. Jacob moved carefully, feeling all eyes on him. Humans were rare in these parts, and he could sense the mixed feelings around him. Curiosity, suspicion, even fear. Finally, the moment came. The large throne room opened, and Queen Varelia entered. She was tall, with shining silver hair and eyes that seemed to glow like stars. Her presence was strong, almost like the whole room fell silent when she spoke. "Welcome, Commander Rains," she said in a clear, calm voice. Jacob bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, it is an honor." But then something unexpected happened. The Queen raised her hand, and the court quieted even more. "From this day forward," she announced, "Commander Jacob Rains is my husband and consort. He will stand beside me as the most powerful queen of the galaxy." The room gasped. Jacob's heart stopped. Was this a joke? A mistake? No one had warned him about this. The nobles whispered urgently, some faces showing shock, others anger. A few guards shifted nervously, unsure of what to do. Jacob looked at the queen, trying to understand. She met his eyes with a calm, almost gentle smile. "Do not fear," she said. "This union is not only for me, but for the future of our galaxy." Jacob swallowed hard. He did not know what the future held, but one thing was clear. His life had just changed forever. The human from Earth was now the husband of the most powerful queen in the galaxy. As the court buzzed with whispers and shocked glances, Jacob took a deep breath. He would have to learn the ways of the Zenthari court fast. And somehow, he had to prove that humanity was more than just a forgotten species. Because now, he was not just a diplomat. He was the human consort of a queen. An unexpected title that would shock the whole galaxy. After Queen Varelia's shocking announcement, the throne room fell into a heavy silence. Nobles, generals, and advisors stared at Jacob with wide eyes. Some looked angry. Others whispered behind their hands. No one had expected the queen to choose a human as her husband. Jacob felt their eyes burn into him like lasers. He was still trying to understand what just happened. How could a simple human be declared the consort of the most powerful queen in the galaxy? He felt like he was dreaming, but the cold marble floor beneath him told the truth. This was real. One of the queen's closest advisors, a tall Zenthari named Lord Terrell, stepped forward. His face was stern and hard. "Your Majesty," he said quietly, "this decision is unprecedented. A human. This could cause unrest in the court and beyond." Queen Varelia looked at Lord Terrell calmly. "I have seen what must be done," she replied. "Jacob Rains will stand with me. The galaxy must change." Jacob noticed some guards shift nervously. The Queen's elite psychic guards, known as the Mind Shields, exchanged worried glances. These warriors could read thoughts, and their silence said much more than words. Jacob felt a cold wave of fear. He was a stranger in a strange land, surrounded by powerful beings who might see him as a threat or a joke. Every second in the throne room felt like a test, one he was not ready to pass. Suddenly, one noble shouted, breaking the silence, "This is madness. A human does not belong here. We demand a council to discuss this." The room erupted in arguments and protests. Jacob held up his hands to calm the chaos. "Please," he said, his voice steady despite the pounding in his chest. "I do not understand all your laws or customs, but I am here to help." His words were drowned out by more shouting. Queen Varelia raised her hand again. The room slowly grew quiet. "Enough," she said. "Jacob will learn our ways, and you will learn to accept him. Our future depends on it." Jacob could see the determination in her eyes. She was not just powerful because of her army or her throne. She had will. A will that could bend the galaxy itself. Later, in the quiet of the palace gardens, Jacob stood alone beneath strange glowing trees. He looked at the stars above, thinking about everything that had happened. The queen's decision was more than a shock. It was a puzzle. Why him? Why a human? His mind raced with questions, but one thought grew clear. If he wanted to survive in this place, he would have to be stronger than anyone expected, stronger than his fear, stronger than the doubts around him. The galaxy was watching, and Jacob knew that if humanity wanted to rise again, it had to start here, at the side of the most powerful queen in the galaxy. The palace was quiet now, but Jacob knew the real challenge had only just begun. Being declared the queen's husband was not just a title. It was a heavy weight. Questions buzzed in his mind like angry hornets. Why had Queen Varelia chosen him? Was it just a political move? Or something deeper? That evening, Varelia invited Jacob to her private chambers. The room was unlike any Jacob had seen before. Walls shimmered softly with lights, and a large window showed the galaxy's endless stars. The queen sat on a simple chair, her silver hair glowing softly in the dim light. "Jacob," she said, her voice gentle but firm, "I want to explain why I chose you." Jacob sat down, leaning forward. "I am listening, Your Majesty." Varelia took a deep breath. "Our empire is strong, but not without problems. There is unrest among my people. Some nobles want to take power from me. The galaxy is on the edge of war." Jacob nodded slowly. "I understand." She looked him in the eyes. "I have visions, glimpses of the future. In these visions, a union with a human will change everything. It will bring hope and strength to our people." Jacob frowned. "Visions, like prophecy." "Something like that," she said. "I do not fully understand them, but I trust what I see." Jacob felt a mix of wonder and doubt. Was this real, or just a clever excuse? Before he could ask more, Varelia stood and walked to the window. "There is more, Jacob. Something I have kept secret, even from my closest advisors." Jacob's heart beat faster. "What is it?" She hesitated, then said quietly, "Humans were once part of the great galaxy's history, not as simple explorers, but as warriors and leaders. Your kind had power we lost to time." Jacob's mind reeled. He had always thought humans were small players in the galaxy. But if the queen was right, humanity's past was much bigger than he knew. Varelia turned back to him. "I believe your return will help us survive what is coming. But you must be ready. This court is dangerous. Not all will accept you." Jacob swallowed. "I am ready to learn and to fight if I must." She smiled softly. "Good. You will need all your courage." As Jacob left the chambers, he felt the weight of the queen's words. This was no simple marriage. It was a bond that could change the fate of millions. And somehow, the future of the galaxy might rest on a human's shoulders. Days passed, but peace did not come to the palace. Jacob soon realized that being the queen's husband was far more dangerous than he had imagined. Whispers followed him everywhere. Secret meetings happened in dark rooms. Eyes watched him from shadows. One evening, Jacob was walking through a quiet corridor when a masked figure stepped out. "You should be careful, human," the figure warned softly. "Not everyone in this court wants you alive." Jacob's heart raced. "Who are you?" The figure smiled under the mask. "A friend, for now." Before Jacob could ask more, the figure disappeared into the shadows. Jacob knew he could trust no one. Not yet. The palace was full of danger and lies. That night, as he tried to sleep, Jacob's thoughts were interrupted by a sharp knock. A young woman entered quietly. "I'm Ceres," she whispered. I was once a soldier, but now I'm here to help you. Jacob stared. Why should I trust you? Cirrus smiled. Because I want to see the queen win, and you winning means her winning. Cirrus explained that many nobles wanted to remove the queen and her new husband. They feared a human in power. Some planned assassination. Others tried to spy or spread lies. Jacob felt the weight of the court's hostility like a heavy cloak. But Cirrus gave him hope. She showed him secret passages and hidden rooms in the palace, places where they could meet safely. Together, they found an AI archivist named R7. R7 was an ancient machine holding lost records of the galaxy's past. It had knowledge that could change everything about humanity's place in the stars. Jacob spent hours reading with R7. He learned that humans had once fought great wars against other empires, winning by using unpredictable tactics and fierce will. But after a terrible battle, humanity vanished from history, hidden, erased by enemies who feared their strength. Jacob's pride grew. He was not just a diplomat anymore. He was a link to a forgotten power. But danger loomed. One night, Jacob narrowly escaped an attack in his quarters. A poisoned blade was left on his bed. A warning. He realized the court was a battlefield of mines and blades. To survive, he had to grow stronger and smarter. With Cirrus and R7 at his side, Jacob prepared for the fight ahead. The queen had chosen him for a reason. Now he had to prove he was worthy of that choice. Jacob sat in the quiet room with R7, the ancient AI archivist. Its cold metallic voice told stories of a past long forgotten. A past where humans were not just a small species on a quiet planet, but a great force in the galaxy. The record showed humans as fierce warriors and brilliant strategists. They had led armies that fought against mighty empires, using bold and unexpected tactics. Their courage and will were legendary. But something terrible had happened. After a massive war, humans disappeared from history. It was as if they were erased by a powerful enemy. The galaxy had forgotten their true strength. Jacob listened carefully. He felt a strange pride growing inside him. The quiet, ordinary man he once was now held a key to a forgotten power. He turned to Cirrus, who had joined him in the archive room. "Why do you think the queen chose me?" he asked. Cirrus shrugged. "Maybe she saw something in you. Humans have fire, something different from the others. Maybe she believes that fire can save her empire." Jacob nodded. "If that's true, I have to live up to it." Over the next days, Jacob trained harder than ever. Cirrus taught him Zenthari combat skills, fast, precise, and deadly. He learned to use energy weapons and practice telepathic defenses, even though he had no psychic powers like the Zenthari. He was clumsy at first, but he never gave up. Jacob's presence in the court grew stronger. Nobles still whispered behind his back, but some began to watch him with new respect. One day, a message arrived from the queen herself. She wanted Jacob to meet her in the war room. The war room was filled with holograms showing stars, fleets, and battle plans. Varelia stood at the center, her face serious. "The rebellion in the outer colonies grows stronger," she said. "If it spreads, it could destroy everything." Jacob studied the maps. "What do you want me to do?" "I want your ideas," the queen replied. "Your human way of thinking, bold and unpredictable, might be what we need." Jacob felt both nervous and excited. This was his chance to prove himself. He suggested using small, fast strike teams to attack the rebel supply lines. Instead of large battles, hit hard and disappear. Use the element of surprise. The queen smiled. "Your tactics are different but promising." Jacob's plan was accepted. As preparations began, Jacob realized his journey had changed. He was no longer just a human outsider. He was becoming a leader, a symbol of humanity's lost flame, burning bright once again. But the galaxy was watching, and the battles ahead would test every ounce of his courage. The throne room buzzed with tension. News had spread that a powerful noble had challenged Jacob to a duel. It was an ancient Zenthari rite, a fight for honor and claim over the queen's consort. If Jacob lost, he would have to leave the court forever. The challenger was Callan Voss, a genetically enhanced warrior known for his telekinetic powers and deadly skill with energy blades. He looked down at Jacob with cold eyes. "You are no match for me, human," Callan said. "Leave now, before you bring shame on the queen." Jacob felt fear, but also a spark of defiance. He knew he had to fight, not just for himself, but for the honor of humanity and the trust the queen had placed in him. The duel began in the great arena. The crowd gathered, watching in silence as the two men faced each other. Callan struck first, sending a sharp wave of telekinetic force toward Jacob. Jacob barely dodged, feeling the power slam past him. He noticed Callan's moves were fast and powerful, but sometimes predictable. Jacob focused, remembering his training. He used quick movements and unexpected angles. Instead of matching Callan's power, he used speed and clever tricks. At one point, Jacob dodged behind a pillar and threw a small energy net, temporarily trapping Callan's blade. The crowd gasped. They had never seen a human fight like this. Callan struggled to free himself, but Jacob pressed the advantage. With a quick leap, Jacob landed a light but precise strike on Callan's armor. It was not a deadly blow, but a clear signal. Jacob was no weakling. The duel ended with Callan stepping back, breathing hard. He raised his hand in defeat. "I yield," he said quietly. Jacob stood tall, chest pounding. The crowd erupted in applause. Queen Varelia watched with a proud smile. She stepped forward and took Jacob's hand. "You have proven yourself today," she said, "not just with strength, but with honor and courage." From that day, whispers in the court changed. Some nobles still doubted Jacob, but many respected him now. He was the human who could face a Zenthari warlord and survive. Jacob knew this was only the beginning. More challenges would come, but for the first time, he felt like he belonged. The queen's unexpected choice was no longer a shock, it was a new hope. The quiet halls of the palace hid many secrets. Jacob soon learned that the court was not only full of politics, but also danger. There was a rebellion growing inside the empire, a secret war that even many nobles did not see. One evening, Queen Varelia called Jacob to a private war council. The room was filled with holograms of star systems and fleets. Her face was serious. "The rebellion in the outer colonies is worse than we thought," she said. "Some of my own advisors want to overthrow me. They believe I am weak for choosing you." Jacob nodded. "What can I do?" Varelia looked him in the eyes. "I need your help to stop the rebellion, not just with armies, but with new ideas and unexpected moves. Your human way of thinking may be our secret weapon." Jacob felt a heavy weight on his shoulders, but also a spark of hope. He was no longer just the queen's husband. He was a key player in the empire's survival. Together, they planned a campaign. Jacob suggested using small, fast teams to strike at the rebel supply bases. Instead of fighting large battles, they would cut off the enemy's resources and morale. The queen agreed. "Your tactics may save us." As the days passed, Jacob worked closely with the queen's generals. He trained soldiers in new fighting techniques, mixing human creativity with Zenthari discipline. But danger was always close. Jacob discovered that spies watched their every move, and traitors waited in the shadows. One night, Jacob narrowly escaped an ambush arranged by a rebel faction inside the palace. His guards fought off the attackers, but the warning was clear. Enemies were everywhere. Despite the threats, Jacob grew stronger. He earned the respect of soldiers and nobles alike. Some even whispered that the queen's choice was wise. But Jacob knew the fight was far from over. The rebellion was powerful, and the court's secrets were deep. Queen Varelia trusted him now, but the galaxy was watching. Together, they would face a hidden war, one that would decide the future of the empire and the place of humanity among the stars. The palace's golden halls felt colder to Jacob now. He knew danger was no longer just outside in the outer colonies, but hiding within the very walls of the empire. Late one evening, as Jacob walked through a quiet corridor, he overheard hushed voices behind a heavy door. Curious, he moved closer and heard two nobles speaking in low, angry tones. "The Queen's human consort weakens her rule," one said. "We must act before it's too late." Jacob's heart pounded. The threat was closer than he thought. Suddenly, footsteps echoed. Jacob slipped into the shadows, avoiding detection. The next day, Jacob warned Queen Varelia. She nodded gravely. "I knew some would not accept this union," she said. "But now we must be ready." Jacob's mind raced. Trust was rare here. Even those closest to the throne might betray them. With Cirrus and R7, Jacob started to uncover a network of spies and traitors. They found secret messages hidden in palace records, plans to sabotage the Queen's forces. Jacob felt the weight of betrayal pressing down on him. The court was a maze of secrets, and every step could be a trap. One night, Jacob was called to the Queen's chambers urgently. She looked tired but determined. "We must strike first," she said. "Find the leaders of this conspiracy and end it." Jacob agreed. Together, they planned a covert mission. Jacob would lead a small team to capture the traitors quietly. No open battles, no bloodshed if possible. The night of the mission was tense. Jacob moved through dark corridors with Cirrus and trusted guards. They found the traitors meeting in a hidden room, plotting the Queen's downfall. Jacob's team acted swiftly. The traitors were arrested before they could escape. Back in the throne room, the Queen declared the traitors guilty. The court was shocked, but many realized Jacob's strength was more than physical. It was his mind and courage that saved them. Despite the victory, Jacob knew more challenges lay ahead. Betrayal was only one shadow in the palace. There were others waiting to strike. But Jacob was ready. For the first time, he truly belonged, not just as the Queen's husband, but as a protector of the empire. The galaxy's most powerful queen had chosen a human for a reason, and that reason was about to change everything. Jacob stood on the balcony of the palace, looking out at the stars. The galaxy seemed endless, full of secrets and dangers. But for the first time, Jacob felt a fire inside him, a spark of something powerful. The rebellion was still growing. More planets wanted to break away from the Queen's rule. The court was full of politics, lies, and threats. But Jacob believed humanity had something special to offer: hope. The next day, Jacob met with Queen Varelia in the war room. She studied the maps carefully. "We must find a way to unite the galaxy," she said. "But how?" Jacob thought for a moment. "Humans believe in hope," he said. "Even when things seem impossible, hope gives us strength. Maybe we need to show the people that the Queen's empire can be fair and strong." Varelia looked at him thoughtfully. "How do we do that?" Jacob suggested sending ambassadors, not soldiers, to the rebel planets. People who could talk, listen, and offer peace. People who could show that the Queen's rule was not just about power, but about justice. The Queen agreed. "It is risky, but it may work." Jacob helped choose the ambassadors, brave men and women who believed in peace and change. They traveled to the outer colonies, meeting with rebel leaders. At first, the rebels were suspicious. They had seen humans only as weak outsiders. But Jacob's ambassadors listened, respected their concerns, and promised a better future. Slowly, some rebels agreed to talk openly with the Queen's government. A fragile peace began to grow. Back at the palace, Jacob's ideas started to change how people saw him. He was no longer just the Queen's husband or a human outsider. He was a bridge between worlds, a symbol of hope for a better galaxy. One night, as Jacob walked through the gardens, Queen Varelia joined him. She smiled softly. "You have changed this empire, Jacob, more than I imagined." Jacob looked at her. "I am just a human trying to help." Varelia laughed gently. "You are more than that. You are the spark that will light the way." Jacob felt proud but knew the journey was far from over. The galaxy was watching. The future was uncertain. But with hope, courage, and the Queen by his side, Jacob believed humanity could rise and change the stars forever. The great hall of the palace was filled with light. Today was the day of the Grand Council, a meeting of leaders from all corners of the galaxy. For the first time, many rebel leaders would join the Queen's court. It was a chance for peace and a new beginning. Jacob stood beside Queen Varelia. The room was full of tension but also hope. The past months had been hard, filled with battles, betrayals, and fears. But now, they were here to build a future. The Queen spoke first. Her voice was strong and clear. Today, we take a step toward unity. This empire will not be ruled by fear or force, but by trust and cooperation. Jacob looked around at the faces, humans, Zenthari, and many other species. Some were skeptical, others hopeful. He knew this moment was fragile. Then, Jacob stepped forward. His voice was steady. We have seen the darkness of war and the pain it brings, but we also know the power of hope. As a human, I have learned that courage and kindness can change even the hardest hearts. There was silence. Then, slowly, applause began to fill the room. The council talked long into the day, making new agreements, sharing ideas, and planning a future where all could live in peace. Later, as the meeting ended, Queen Varelia took Jacob's hand. "You have done more than I ever dreamed. You have changed this empire." Jacob smiled. "I only did what was right." The stars outside the palace shone brighter than ever. A new dawn had begun, not just for the empire, but for humanity and all its new allies. Jacob knew challenges would come again, but now he had the strength of many behind him. Together, they would protect this new hope. The most powerful queen of the galaxy had declared him her husband, an unexpected choice that shocked the court. But now, Jacob was no longer just a surprise. He was a leader, a symbol, and a promise of a better tomorrow. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries and dangers, but with hope and courage, humanity's light would shine among the stars forever.